Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. Today we're going to be looking at a number of sensory items that are kind of what I'd consider like miscellaneous items. They don't really go in like a slime category or anything like that, or there aren't enough items to really warrant a video all to themselves, so I'm going to stick them in here. So we have a few items we're going to look at. A total of 7 different sensory items. We do have 2 different types of foam that we're going to look at as part of this. We have 2 different styles of squishies, and then a couple of other items. And as we go through each of these items, the main thing I'm going to be talking about is what part of your sensory system may be addressed with these products, how they may support sensory integration, and whether or not they'd be good to use out in the workplace or in a school setting, versus something that's more of a toy, a little messier, a little more distracting, something that I feel like that would maybe have more value in the home. So, all that said, let's jump into this. We are going to start with these 2 foam items. And I thought I was going to be able to, oh, there it goes. I thought I'd be able to open this without scissors. So this foam is, it's a product from Target, from the dollar spot in Target, and it says no mess play foam. I found it on clearance, so I didn't even pay $1 for it. I probably paid 30 cents. Anything that's no mess though is always good in my book. So if you've ever worked with a foam or a floam product before, you know they do tend to be a bit sticky. So I'm just going to start by, warming it up. You can hear how sticky it is though, if you listen. Alright, it is sticky, but it's not actually sticking to me. So apparently I still have a little bit of glitter on my hands from a little while back. But there's no foam or beads or anything like that on my fingers. I set it down. I have this like parchment paper cover because my desk is looking a little ratty, and I want to just keep it clean. And this is pretty easy to clean up. So I set it down on this parchment paper. I did lose a couple little beads, but there we go. They're fairly easy to pick up. That's some sticky stuff. So this is a very tactile activity, a very tactile sensory piece. You're going to get a lot out of it as far as that feeling. It would seem though, as I'm pulling it apart, it gets messier when you break it up. I've always thought it was interesting that these tend to claim to be no mess. They're always messy. My son makes a huge mess with these. It is fun to pull them apart. Get them kind of stringy. See that up close and personal here. And there goes some of it onto the table. Ooh. Anyway. This is definitely a really great experience for a tactile need. I would not recommend it, despite the fact that the packaging says no mess. I would not recommend taking this into a workplace or a school. There will be little foam beads everywhere in no time. And it also is like a little bit noisy. So that's something that like some people really enjoy, that sound that things make, the pin clicking or the slime pops. But it's not something that everybody enjoys, and so really in a workplace especially, it's important to be mindful of the fact that it's not everybody's thing. Let's just have a moment though. Alright, so that's our first foam. pretty messy, to be honest, and getting messier as I play more with it. So you can see the first time I showed it to you, there was nothing on my hands. Now there's lots on my hands. Let's see if I can get some of that off. Alright, now that I've gotten that all cleaned up, let's go ahead and look at this one. This one I found at Walmart. Obviously, no, Walgreens, I apologize. At Walgreens. Obviously a Christmas themed foam. But kind of one of those products that's like repackaged for every season. I'm sure you could find one for Valentine's Day if you went and looked right now, or Easter, in a heart or an egg shape. And it's, you know, just beaded Christmas foam. There's not a lot of advertising. You know, it's marked at $1.99. Again, I found it on clearance after Christmas. It was probably either 70 or 90% off. So I probably paid like less than 50 cents for this. This is a very stiff foam. Let's see if we can get it out. Yeah, a nice little candy cane. I don't know what you do with that piece. This foam is a lot stiffer than the last one. The last one kind of melted into my hands. This one is feeling difficult to squish, which has its own place in a sensory product. Something that takes a little more effort to squish hits a different sensory system. So depending on your needs, if you are looking just for the tactile input, or if like really squeezing something is going to do you a lot of good, this could be a better option, the Walgreens brand foam. It is, you know, similar to the other one in that it's dropping its little beads all over me. Let's see how it pulls. And it, again, also gets messier the more you pull it apart. It's not really getting more workable though, so it seems like it's going to hold on to that really firm texture it has, which is good, because if you get something, because it's hard to squish, you want it to stay hard to squish, not to get really easy as it warms up in your hands. All right, so again, great tactile input. Like it's bumpy, it's sticky, it's got a lot going for it. If you enjoy that sound, it's got a great sound. It's nice and loud, or makes it squishy sound. It's not hard to hear, I suppose. It's not really loud either. Messy though, so like I said, I'm getting little beads everywhere. And it takes a little more muscle to manipulate this one. So there are two types of foam here side by side. You can definitely tell the difference. The Target brand being a lot softer, a lot more malleable, whereas the Walgreens brand is a firmer, more difficult, requiring a lot more hand strength. So if that's a tactile input that you're looking for, you can kind of decide where you might want to buy your foam, beaded foam from to kind of meet your needs. So let's look at a couple of squishies. Both of these squishies actually come again from Walgreens. I happened to hit them right at their 90% off all of their Christmas stuff sales, so it's the best time to buy these kinds of things, because you just get them for so cheap. And if you're using these as a tool to meet your sensory needs, like really, it's Santa Claus, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. So these are two vastly different items, but they're both considered squishies. This is the Santa Claus figure is a soft and slow rise. So when you squish it, it's very soft. And I'm going to just set it here and let you watch the poor Santa Claus come back to shape. It's not the slowest rising squishy I've ever seen, but it's definitely a slow rise squishy. It is soft. It is easy to squish. I think all slow rise squishies take a little bit of muscle to manipulate, but this is not a difficult one by any means. So a nice kind of in between. And there he goes. Back to shape. I do notice already there's some spots that like paint is starting to peel off just from the fact that it got played with a lot by my kids before I even took it out of the package probably. And me playing with it a little bit as well. So, but again, like when you're looking at a lot of these products, like giving somebody one of these as a gift, like it looks nice when you give it to them, but then the usefulness of it isn't based on the paint, and so I really like the feel of this squishy. It is very soft. It does rise fairly slowly. Yeah, so Santa Claus. And then we have, the other one we have is a more rubber-based squishy. My only issue with these is, if you can see already, I've got a nice long purple hair stuck in there, is that they do get dirty more quickly than these ones, but they're a completely different sensory experience. So if this is what you're seeking, like they are washable, you can definitely clean them. So for these, they are rubber based, and then they have this soft feeling texture piece on them, which is another sensory piece, a very different feel than the soft squishies. So squeezing them, you can get the air bubbles. This one also has a hard piece in it that lights up, which I always, as a teacher, always wish they'd take these out, because this is a great school sensory tool until that thing lights up, and then every kid in the class has their eyes on it. So if you can find them without that, or if you find one where it's broken, which they do eventually run out of battery or break, you can find one without it, then it would definitely be a great school or workplace squishy. I think at a workplace too, this would probably be okay. Let's turn off the light though and see how that, it's pretty cool. And not to say that the lighting up isn't fun and there isn't a visual component to that, and if that's something that you're looking for, this is a great way to get it. That visual flashing, that can be really calming or stimulating for people depending on their sensory system. So this doesn't take any real effort to squish. It's very easy, but it's also a very tactile, and then it has that visual piece with the light up. So great sensory products. This one, I've had kids use these in the classroom, and as long as they're small, not the giant slow rise squishies, but smaller ones, they've never caused any problems. These ones, like I said, when that thing lights up, it's all eyes go there. So, and they can be pretty easy. But if you can either break it or get one without it or something like that, they're great for the classroom. Also, I imagine, like I said, as an adult in a workplace, I don't think that would be a super big problem unless you're like in a meeting or something. Then you might want to pick something else for that experience. Alright, so the next thing we're going to look at is this finger band, and I have really big fingers, so it actually doesn't fit me super well, but that's what I'm going to try anyways for you guys. So the way this works is it's actually meant to give the muscles in your hand a workout. It originally was designed for exercising your fingers for like guitar players or for stringed instruments. And one of the things I found is that there are some kids that just, and this is designed for children, which is why it doesn't really fit me very well. there are some kids that like this really works for them, and like having something like this to do with their hand while they're listening, or with their non-dominant hand while they're writing, or things like that, like this can really like make or break it for some of those kids who just really need a constant input that's not distracting. So this definitely requires a lot of muscle through here as you open your fingers, and it's exhausting. Like after a little while of doing this, your hand is tired. So if you want to watch it and not have them do this on their dominant hand right before a writing assessment, if you are in the workplace, if you use your hands to work a lot, this might not be something to use on, again, on your dominant hand if you know you're going to have to use it. But if you're like really craving that like deep pressure input, this is a very underused, under-recognized product that I think can do really amazing things. It is making my fingers a little bit numb because it's too tight. So you probably want to get the right size. So this is a great product. I found this on Wish, but if you look for finger trainers or guitar practice items, this will eventually come up. Like I said, it's only just starting to be known as a fidget, but especially for a student in a classroom, this can be something that really, really makes a big difference for them. The next one we're going to look at is a Tangle, which most people are familiar with, but again, I think is a really underutilized tool, especially in a classroom or workplace. They went on sale at Target from the look of the tag. So I went ahead and picked one up. I have a couple laying around somewhere, but you can get these on Amazon, on Wish for fairly cheap. And they also have ones that are textured. This is a smooth one because that's what I prefer. But they do have textured ones available. So basically this is a series of linked pieces. Here's an up close of an individual piece, and then they stick together by you click the pieces together. They're always easier to get apart than they are to get back together, in my opinion. And you can use them either as a straight like worm, or they can be used as a circular piece, and they're really like nice for absent-minded fidgeting. They're nice, they're smooth, they're hard, so there's not any squish to them, but sometimes you just need something to roll around in your hands besides a ball. And these roll really nicely, so as you can see, I'm just twisting and turning, and it does make a tiny bit of noise. When they cling together, or if you snap it like I'm prone to do, it does make a tiny bit of noise, but it's not loud. So again, not a bad idea for like if you're doing classwork in the classroom, or if you're in the workplace, if you're working at your desk or your table. Don't take it to a meeting where everyone's expected to be quiet, like it will be noticed. So use your best judgment with that. But for me, a lot of times when I'm trying to think and focus and like get ideas going, or really have to sit through something that's incredibly boring, that's kind of the two times that something like this really works for me to help me stay focused where I need to be, and giving me an outlet of something I can do that isn't like movement necessary, because I don't want to bounce on a ball. I don't want to like do big movement. I just want something small that can keep me in the here and now so that I don't get lost in my head. And so this is a Tangle. Lots of uses, lots of ways that it can be used for sensory needs, but that's how I've used it. If you have a different experience with it, of course I'd love to hear about it. We have one more product. This is called a Posh Palm, and this was a Walmart clearance item. that I found. And the reason I picked it up initially was because I've seen a lot of kids in my classroom using these sequins as a fidget, and I was curious. Most of the kids who were using them appropriately were the kids who probably didn't really need them, or who like just enjoyed that but could have done just as well without it. And then, you know, the kids who needed a fidget, this didn't really seem to work too well for them. But then I've never really done any work with training on it either, so for my classroom. So yeah, I just definitely wanted to check this out and see what this was all about, because I'm always open to new ideas, and there is definitely no reason that just because a fidget didn't work in a situation once, that with some education and some training, especially for kids, that it can't work later. One of the things that's nice about this is it's kind of 2-in-1, because then you also have this super soft palm on the top. And I know for my son in particular, having something soft to rub and kind of caress discreetly has been a huge thing for him in school and when he's feeling stressed out. So if I can keep something like with him that's just soft and easy to touch, obviously maybe not a purple one, might do green or blue or black or something, that can be something that really like helps him get through like the minor things in his day. And so that kind of having something close, this also comes with a keychain on it. So it's nice. It can attach to a backpack, a purse, something like that. Again, really lending itself to being discreet, but also if somebody does see it to being kind of fun and like something you could play off as like, oh yeah, my niece gave this to me, or isn't that like super cute, or it's my favorite color, or like, I don't know, whatever. So it doesn't have to be something that brings embarrassment to you if you feel concerned about your sensory needs. I would encourage everyone to talk about it and say, yeah, I use that to calm myself down when I'm stressed out. Like the soft fluff really relaxes me, or, you know, switching the sequins from purple to silver really helps me feel calm when I'm in a stressful situation. So that's an okay thing. Like, as an adult, as a child, as a teenager, as whatever, wherever you are in life, that idea of acceptance around our sensory needs is something that I really hope to bring about as part of my sensory videos and the things that I'm doing. But it's nice when you have the option, because as much as I'd like to bring awareness, I also understand like sometimes being like, oh yeah, that's my sensory tool is a bit much. It's embarrassing, and it's hard to say that to some people. So to kind of recap, that was our last fidget, our last item. We have our palm, we have our guitar trainer, a tangle, as just kind of some options for, especially for attentiveness, and this one for calming. We've got our 2 types of squishies and our 2 types of foam. And so having a variety of sensory tools at your disposal, because sensory needs are dynamic and changing, just like our bodies are dynamic and changing, and our brains are dynamic and changing. Our sensory system is dynamic and changing as well. So keeping a toolkit around is a great thing. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope that this helps you make a decision about what would benefit you, your family, your loved ones, your classroom, whatever the case may be. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Let me know if you've used any of these, how you've used them. What other products do you use to really manage your sensory system? And always feel free to check me out on Etsy, Facebook, and check out my other videos. Thanks so much. Bye.